everyone, and welcome back to my channel. So I haven't been doing a really good job on my monthly TBRs. There's just been so much going on and I haven't been reading as much as I would like. So what I've decided to do is just something a little bit differently. I've decided to do more of like a quarterly TBR. So hopefully I can get through all of that. And then probably at the end of it, I'll be doing a Q2 wrap-up video is kind of what my idea is right now. So without further ado, let's go into what I would like to read for Q2. Okay, so I think you've seen some of these books that I'm going to be talking about. I know you've seen these two that I'm going to show you right now. So I thought I would just briefly mention them because they've been on my TBR this whole year, really. So the first one is The Poison Song by Jen Williams. This is the final book in the Winnowing Flame trilogy. I just need to stop putting it off. I need to finish it so I can finish the trilogy. I just need to do it. I don't know why. It's not that big. I mean, it's like 600 pages, I think. It's 566. So yeah, I just need to finish it and I don't know why I keep putting it off. So this is on my TBR for Q2. Along with Warbreaker by Brandon Sanderson. This is another one that I've been pushing off. I'm not sure why, because I absolutely love Brandon Sanderson. So I just need to, like I said before, quit pushing it off. Now the next several, I don't think I've talked about before. Some of these are newer releases and some of these I just bought. So let's talk about some of those. The first one is, I don't know if this is the final book in this series or not, but it's A Touch of Chaos. And this is the fourth book in the Hades and Persephone saga by Scarlett St. Clair. I've actually really enjoyed this series. I know people are like, oh, Persephone annoys me. Well, for some reason, I like her. I think she's got spunk and whatever. And I like the relationship between her and Hades. I don't Now, I think as the books have gotten on, I think the smut in it is getting less and less. Which in my opinion is good because it focuses more on the plot. But it also doesn't take away from Hades and Persephone's relationship, which I like. So this is the fourth one. It just came out in March, I believe. So this is on my TBR for Q2. It is a little bit bigger than I think the other ones that I have. But I'm super excited to see where this goes because the third book left me on a cliffhanger. The next book I plan to read, and as soon as I finish one of the books I'm reading currently, I'm going to this, is Powerless by Lauren Roberts. I've heard absolutely raving reviews about this series. I'm super excited to pick it up. It is YA, I believe, but it is also in the romantasy genre. And if I like it enough, I still have plenty of time to pre-order the second book, which comes out in July. So just a little bit, I'll read the synopsis for you. It's not that big. So the elites have possessed powers for decades, gifted to them by the plague, while those born ordinary are just that, banished from the kingdom of Ilya and shunned from society. No one knows this better than Peyton Gray, an ordinary posing as a psychic to blend in with the elites. But when she unwittingly saves one of Ilya's princes, Kai Azar, she's thrown into the purging trials and a brutal competition showcasing the elite's powers. If the trials and the opponents within them don't kill her, the prince she is fighting feelings for will if he discovers what Peyton is, completely ordinary. So, I'm super excited to read this. That is why it is next on my list to read. Next, after that, I plan to read Allie Hazelwood's new one, Bride. This is a romantasy between I think werewolves and vampires. Allie Hazelwood usually writes contemporary romance, but this is her first dabble in fantasy, so I'm super excited to see how she does it. I love Allie Hazelwood's writing, and I loved her, the 3 books that I've read by her so far. So I really have high hopes for this. I think I'm gonna love it. And, you know, it might not be plot heavy, but that's okay. You don't always need a plot heavy story. Sometimes just the romance is enough. So I'm super excited to pick this up. I just cannot wait to see how she does with fantasy. The next book I plan to read, and this was a recommendation from one of my friends who actually just finished this. She finished book 1. She has not read any more in the series, but I think there's like 12 books, so might take me a little bit, but it is Zodiac Academy by Carolyn Peckham and Suzanne Valentine. This has been pegged as fantasy with romance, I think. I don't think it is a romantasy, at least according to my friend with how she read it. There's hints of romance, I guess, in it. But I mean, this is a 12-book series, so I'm okay if the romance doesn't happen right away, you know? You gotta progress a little bit, especially if there's 12 books. So I'm excited to read this. I've had this on my like Goodreads want to read. I just haven't bought one until now. And I'm glad for the recommendation from my friend. So I cannot wait to start this series. The next book I plan to read after that is A Fate Inked in Blood by Danielle L. Jensen. This, I mean, the synopsis of this sounds phenomenal. I mean, she has a drop of goddess's blood. So, I mean, I'm just excited. I love fantasy, and you guys know that. If you've been watching my videos, you know mainly what I talk about is fantasy, and I love fantasy. I love romance. So this, I'm super excited. Now, this came in one of my book boxes, which I'm a little sad because the ones you can buy in store from the first print have these beautiful sprayed edges, and I'm a little sad I didn't get it, but it's okay. I can deal. But yeah, this is just excited. I mean, exciting. I'm so excited to read this. So, let me read the synopsis to you if you do not know. Bound in an unwanted marriage, Freya spends her days gutting fish but dreams of becoming a warrior and of putting an axe in her boorish husband's back. Freya's dreams abruptly become reality when her husband betrays her to the region's Jarl, landing her in a fight to the death against his son, Jorn. To survive, Freya is forced to reveal her deepest secret. She possesses a drop of a goddess's blood, which makes her a shield maiden with magic capable of repelling any attack. And it's been foretold that such magic will unite the fractured nation of Scotland beneath the one who controls the shield maiden's fate. Believing she's destined to rule Scotland as king, the fantastical Jarl binds Freya with a blood oath and orders Jorn to protect her from their enemies. Desperate to prove her strength, Freya must train to fight and learn to control her magic, all while facing perilous tests set by the gods. The greatest test of all, however, may be resisting her forbidden attraction to Jorn. If Freya succumbs to her lust for the charming and fierce warrior, she risks not only her own destiny, but the fate of all the people she has sworn to protect. Like, that sounds great. You've got romance, forbidden romance. You've got magic. You've got enemies. Like, it's just perfect. I am excited to pick this up. Then after that, I've got to have a little bit break of romance. So I'm going to be picking up The Tainted Cup by Robert Jackson Bennett. This is going to be my first book by Robert Jackson Bennett, and I am super excited. I've heard great things about this. This is a fantasy mystery book. So let me read you the synopsis of this. And I apologize in advance if I pronounce some of these fantasy names wrong. I mean, they're fantasy. So, in Dertana's grandest mansion, an imperial officer lies dead, killed to all appearances when a tree erupted from his body. Even here at the Empire's borders, where contagions abound and the blood of the Leviathans work strange magical changes, it's a death both terrifying and impossible. Assigned to investigate is Anna Dolabra, a detective whose reputation for brilliance is matched only by her eccentricities. Rumor has it that she always wears a blindfold and can solve impossible cases without stepping outside the walls of her home. At her side is her new assistant, Dinos Cole, magically altered in ways that make him the perfect aid to Anna's brilliance. Din is at turns scandalized, perplexed, and infuriated by his new superior. But as the two close in on a mastermind and Anna makes one startling deduction after the next, he realizes that she is indeed the Empire's greatest detective and wonders how long he can keep his own secrets safe from her piercing intellect. So, doesn't that sound so interesting? And this is hardback, but the cover is printed on it, which I love. So definitely excited to pick this up. This will be a nice little break for me between all the romance I'm going to be reading, which of course I love, but you got to have a little palate cleanser. So the next two I think I've talked about before, so I'll just be a little brief. The Last Graduate is going to be on my TBR for this quarter. I need to finish this, so as soon as I read this, I'll be getting the last one. So that way then I can hopefully finish that series this year. Then also, of course, Divine Rivals. I have been meaning to pick this up, and I will definitely pick this up in Q2. And then hopefully in Q3, I can read the finale, which I have on my shelf. So very excited. Next book I plan to read, and I'm telling you, it's probably going to be throughout Q2 like the last one was, but that is Words of Radiance by Brandon Sanderson. This is the second installment to the Stormlight Archives. I have absolutely loved the first one. I'm finishing that right now, so I cannot wait to continue to dive into the Stormlight world on Roshar. It's so interesting, and I love every bit of it. The next book I have that I plan to read is The Book That Wouldn't Burn by Mark Lawrence. Basically, all I know is this takes place in a library. So that's all I really want to know. I don't plan on reading the synopsis, but his second book just came out in this series. And I did get that one. You'll see that in a book haul video here shortly. But I plan to read this in Q2 and then his new one in Q3. So I don't know if this is a duology or if it's a trilogy. So I guess I'll find out after I read book 2. Next one I plan to read is Sunbringer by Hannah Kaner. This is the next book in the God Killer series. I'm super stoked to read this. I loved God Killer. I think I've told you guys that I plan to read this as well, but I mean, basically God Killer is kind of like The Witcher. So you've got a world where gods are now outlawed. And so you've got people who go around and kill gods for a price. Well, there's Kissian, who is our main antagonist, and she is a god killer. And she stumbles upon a girl who is connected to a god. The god and the girl cannot be too far away from each other, or both of them will die. So they've asked Kissian to help them basically break apart. So those three go on a journey, and they stumble upon a knight, like an old knight, and it's a found family book in the first one, but it leaves you on a cliffhanger. And so I'm so excited that this came out when it did, because I am ready to figure out what the heck is gonna happen. So definitely ready for it. Now, the next three books I have, I've got a lot of long books this quarter. I mean, there's a lot, but we're getting through them, okay? So finally, I'm going to pick up Cassandra Clare's Swordcatcher, her new series outside of the Shadowhunter world. I've heard great things about this as well. I'm super excited to pick it up. I just love everything to do with Cassandra Clare. So yes, this is on my TBR to read this quarter, as well as The Will of the Many. This one, I've heard some mixed things about it, but you know what? I'm excited. A world where the elites take your will as like payment or something. I think that's basically what it is. And this guy who is out for revenge, like, I'm excited for it. So this one is a chunker as well, but you know what? I've got all kinds of chunkers in this Q2 TBR. So I'm really hoping I can get through this. It's pretty aggressive, but I'm excited for it. And I mean, I really do like the cover. It's very simple and plain, but it's catchy. And finally, I know you've seen it before, so it'll be super quick, but its second book just came out, and I plan to read that in Q3. So it is The Foxglove King, and this is a romantasy book as well. So I'm very excited to read this. I know I've talked about it in the past, so I won't go into it a whole lot, but this one I'm super excited for. So guys, those are all the books that I plan to read in Q2. I think there was like 16, and yes, a lot of them are pretty huge. So cross your fingers for me. I hope I can read all of them. Now, I'm not saying that there might be some flip-flops here and there. It'll depend on my mood, and if I get in like a reading slump, I'm gonna want to pick up some shorter ones to get me through. Because, I mean, sometimes those big, long books, they tire you out. So these are just all the books that I plan to read right now for April, May, and June. So what are some of the books that you plan to read this quarter? I would absolutely love to know, so comment down below. Let me know if you've read any of these and what you thought about it. Don't forget, like, subscribe, and be good people.
When you feel it's hopeless, when you think that